What's up, YouTube? Sergeant Blake is back, and as much as I'd like to wait around until I get a new webcam or camera, there's just too much happening for me to say, no, you're not going to get what you usually get from me. So I'm going to try to talk as lowly as possible so you guys can hear me without all the distortion. And today we're going to talk about the VGAs. Now, I watched the VGAs from start to finish on television because I didn't like watching them online because you didn't really get to see any of the previews, and that's really what I wanted to watch them for. So I'm just going to give you the gist of it. The VGAs themselves, horrible, absolutely boring. The awards were pretty good, and we'll go over that in a second, but they were pretty boring. Previews were also pretty disappointing, but we're going to talk about some of them, or all of them rather, right now. So first we've got Batman Arkham Asylum sequel. This was probably the biggest surprise to me, and it started off the night, and it was really interesting to see. Apparently the Joker has some sort of outside influence now. He's already broken out of his restraints and is in Gotham City wreaking havoc, and he is just causing trouble. And I'm sure that there's going to be a bunch of other characters, but from the way it looked, and all of these previews and stuff are in the sidebar if you want to check them out, but the way it looked was pretty cool. And it's a big surprise to me just because they're moving on to it so quickly. It may or may not be a good choice, but I'm sure the studio is doing a good job. So next we've got Prince of Persia trailer. Apparently, I think it's called The Forgotten Sands or something. And the way it works is it seems like a sequel to not the previous Prince of Persia that we've seen this gen, but the last Prince of Persia that we saw last gen. That's a bit confusing to me because I thought they were starting a franchise anew with the previous Prince of Persia, but I guess I was wrong. After that, we've got the big ones, Halo Reach, which looks beautiful. It's a beautiful looking game. If that is in-game engine and all of that, then that's beautiful. But the problem with it that I have is that it looks generic. It looks a lot of the same. It looks like Halo, and the characters that they've kind of put out there seem a lot like Power Rangers. Like each one has a different look to their armor, and each one has a different color to their armor. Not like severely, but you notice that some people have little bits of red, blue, yellow, and it's just kind of lame. It just reminds me of the Power Rangers so much. But I'm sure that it's going to sell well because it is Halo. I just feel like Halo should be over by now because there's just so many places they need to move that Bungie can do so much else with. And next, after that, we've got Crackdown 2, which I was actually looking forward to seeing because I'm a real sucker for free roaming games. But like I said just a second ago, Halo looked like Power Rangers, right? Crackdown 2 looked a lot like Mercenaries 2 with a Halo 3 skin on it. Like it just looked sci-fi Mercenaries is really what it looked like. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just doesn't look too impressive or like I haven't seen anything of that nature already. I wasn't a big fan of Crackdown 1, but I don't know. So these are just first look trailers. Maybe they'll evolve into something wonderful, but who knows, right? Next we've got the Spec Ops trailer, which I wasn't particularly impressed with, just because it just doesn't seem too cool. Like it's a third-person shooting game, a lot like Gears of War, I'd say, and from the looks of it, it doesn't seem too realistic. The dude was just kind of aiming in a certain direction, firing off as many bullets as he could. There was no like conservation of ammo, nothing. It just didn't look too too much fun. After that, there's Tron Evolution, which there wasn't much on. It did look kind of interesting, but Tron is like 20 years before my time, and or like 10 years before my time, and I've never really been interested in Tron, so I guess we'll have to wait until the movie comes out before anybody gets to really know what the hell that's all about. There's also one that I didn't include in here because I forgot about it, but it was it's the trailer to The Force Unleashed 2, which it looks pretty cool, but again, it looks like CG, so there's nothing really we can tell from that. After that, there's True Crime. The True Crime trailer looks pretty cut and dry. It looks like you're undercover in China or whatever. UFC 2010 Undisputed trailer was okay. It just looked like more of the same with a roster update, but I'm sure that that's going to get a lot of hits too because everybody liked UFC. And then after that, there's Medal of Honor, which looks a lot like Call of Duty. So it's Medal of Honor. It's taking place in the present. Had a lot to do with stuff that's going on in the Middle East from the looks of it. I can't really tell you how it looks, really. It just seems alright at best. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the awards. First award went to Jack Black, and he got Best Voice for a Video Game Character. And I think Killzone 4190 has mentioned that he feels that was kind of like a fluke win, and I totally agree with him, because he was up against Claudia Black, who played Chloe in Uncharted, Nolan North, who played Drake in Uncharted, and more importantly, Mark Hamill, who played the Joker in Batman. And, you know, I would love to say that Nolan North or Claudia Black deserved that, but Mark Hamill would have won that, and should have won that, because Jack Black is cool, but he was basically playing a character that is who he is, you know? It just seemed kind of blah. At best, I'd say that that was kind of like just for the comedy of it. Again, Killzone 4190 has mentioned this, and he made a great point. He just said it was kind of like a comedy spiel on Jack Black's part, because after he came out, he did a big like jokey segment, and then that was it. After that, more notable awards was Best Studio. A lot of people are saying that Naughty Dog should have won Best Studio. Instead, it was Rocksteady for their game with Batman. And although I do think that Naughty Dog is a great studio, I think that Rocksteady deserved this award just because Rocksteady had done one other game before Batman, I think, or one other notable game before Batman. And it was called Zero Tolerance. It was on the PlayStation 2, and it was horrible. And, well, it wasn't horrible. It was okay at best. I played it. I actually bought it. But it was okay. And it was just, it wasn't that good, you know? So for them to come out, this brand new generation, and then take Batman and turn it into what they turned it into, that is a great job on their part, and they deserve that award through and through. Not because Naughty Dog is a bad studio, just because Naughty Dog has proven themselves to be a great studio. I don't expect anything less than excellent when we're talking about Naughty Dog. Rocksteady kind of rolled the dice and won, so they totally deserve that. Another one that everybody's talking about is Assassin's Creed getting Best Action Adventure Game, and some people agree with that, some people don't. A lot of people are saying that Uncharted should have taken that as well. Personally, I think it really just kind of depends. You know, I think that both games were awesome, and a lot of what Spike did, what it feels like, is that they did they gave that one to Assassin's Creed just so Uncharted didn't take home like 4 awards, because they took home 3. Just so they didn't take home 4 awards, and that Assassin's Creed got a little bit more airtime, so they got to, you know, plug that a little bit. I'm trying to think who won Best PC. Best RPG went to Dragon Age Origins, which I thought was going to win. I think it also got Best PC game. Best Xbox game went to Left 4 Dead 2, which I was actually hoping would go to ODST. I was hoping Left 4 Dead 2 would win Best Multiplayer Game, but that went to, of course, Modern Warfare 2. There's some also... Ow, fuck. I just pinched myself hella bad. There's some other really big things that went into that show, but of course everybody wants to hear about Game of the Year, and I voted for Uncharted 2 to win, but I really didn't think it was going to because of what Modern Warfare 2 is and how many people play that game and enjoy it. And it's really strange that a PlayStation exclusive would win Game of the Year, but it went ahead and won Game of the Year. Uncharted 2 won Game of the Year. And it was pretty amazing, but like I've said just before, that, you know, I don't think that Jack Black deserved his award. I don't think that Assassin's Creed rightfully got their award. Not that's a bad thing. Like, they did a great game, but you know, they probably shouldn't have been the best in action adventure. So it really kind of says that, like, you know, those two people won their awards just cause, or those two figures won their awards just cause, and then Uncharted went ahead to go win Game of the Year. But what does that really mean if nobody's actually winning the awards they rightfully deserve? Not that Uncharted 2 doesn't deserve Game of the Year, it does. But I'd just much rather have a game show that went off of votes from the people instead of, you know, money from the companies. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. Game of the Year is awesome. It's a great thing to take home. They also got Best Graphics and Best PlayStation 3 Game. So what else am I going to say? It looks great. So the previews are in the sidebar. I am going to see you tomorrow